conquest. It is an illegal conquest. We are not the extremists. The extremists are the people who believe in an ethnically pure Jewish state.
All right, there you go. You don't want to call him a self-hating Jew. I got a better name for him, but I won't say it here. Joining us now to talk about what's going on with Western anti-Semitism and more is Walter E. Williams, distinguished economist at George Mason University and syndicated columnist. Hello, sir.
Good afternoon.
Always great to talk to you. I got to tell you, it's insane what's going on. It's scary what's going on. What we've seen around Europe in the streets, synagogues under attack, and what's it all about? I mean, it's Israel fighting a terrorist group.
Yeah, well, I think one of the questions that you have to ask people, and I haven't heard it asked, what is Israel to do when Hezbollah, the Hamas, shoots rockets? Are they supposed to just sit there and take it, or are they supposed to leave Israel, or are they supposed to surrender?
Yeah.
Now, I'm very sure that any American, if you ask an American, well, gee, what if some people were in Canada lobbing rockets on New York City or Philadelphia? What would we do?
Yeah.
We surely would not sit there and take it. I don't think so.
Well, and with this administration, you never know. But you would like to believe that's the case, and especially if you could put it to, let's say, it was a province in Canada, and the government there backed this. They actually encouraged it. They launched it, and nobody else would do anything about it to stop it. So yeah, then you got to defend yourself. But here's the thing, Walter. The media coverage of this has led to a lot of this, I believe, and the hatred of Israel around the world. And we'll get to that, too. A lot of it is anti-Semitism disguised as anti-Zionism. But, as you point out in a piece at Town Hall, the proportionality and how we fought World War II. If there were these CNN cameras around in World War II, we would have lost the war.
That is absolutely right. I mean, when people talk about, well, gee, there's about 1,800 Palestinians killed and 60-some Israelis killed. And they're saying, well, gee, this is very disproportionate. Well, if you look at World War II, and you ask, well, was there proportionality in the number of civilians killed in World War II? That is, were there just as many Americans killed as Americans killed people in Dresden or Berlin or in Nagasaki or Tokyo? And I think one of the things is that if you make it non-proportional, like we did in World War II, those countries that were warring against us, that were warmongers, they never warred against anybody again. Japan has not started any war with anybody, and Germany has not started any war with anybody. And they probably they learned their lesson.
Right, and when you talk about the magnitude, I mean, cities were bombed. It's how you fight a war when you have to fight it that way. And in this case, in the case of Israel, where Gaza is, military is civilian, civilian is military, the terrorists are civilian. I mean, it's even more egregious, if you will. And yet look at the number of Palestinians now mixed up in that number of 1,900. Are lots of terrorists that they don't distinguish in the numbers. So Israel has done an amazing job of pinpoint and restraint when you consider the fact that this has gone on for a month and the countless airstrikes and ground operation
That's absolutely right. And when you hear people talk about the Geneva Convention requires that war participants be in uniform.
Yeah.
And the reason that they should be in uniform is to protect the civilians.
Right.
That is so that the people who are actively engaged in war are identified as with each other. Now the Israelis were in uniform, and it turns out that the Palestinians or Hamas they were not. And you know, one of the rather interesting thing, one of the rather tragic things, was said by William Sherman in 1879 when he said to the Michigan Military Academy, he was giving a talk there. He said that war is hell. That is, there is no nice war, and that's why war should be the last alternative. But when people launch rockets on you, or when they attack, well, you have to respond. That's the president's job. That's Netanyahu. That's his job. Is to matter of fact, it's the first job of government, namely to protect its citizens.
And what do you make of the reaction by this State Department at every turn? Even in support of Israel. Israel has a right to do this. They have a right to do that, and you know it's coming. But what do you make of that?
Well, maybe they're trying to curry favor with the Muslims, and as far as the Islam and the Muslims are concerned, is that first they want to destroy the Jews, and then they'll come after the rest of us.
Well, they're coming after the Christians all over the world.
Yes,
lots of them. I don't mean the ones who are ISIS and the other groups and Boko Haram and all over the world. We hear about the slaughter of Christians and persecution of Christians at the hands of Muslims.
That's right. And something that you said a little bit earlier in our conversation. You're talking about people not liking the Jews, and at one time, this was years ago. Somebody from a very, very wealthy foundation during a reception asked me, how can we make how can Jews become more acceptable? And I said, well, just become failures. Just be a failure.
Yeah, be the underdog. Apologize for strength and accept defeat, and then they'll say what good losers you are. Here's a good one. Let me ask you this. We're bombing now these convoys, as the president put it. If they approach Americans and American facilities, we're gonna bomb them, and I think we should just be bombing them all and try to eliminate ISIS. But going by the president's parameters, what if in each convoy they put a couple of kids on there? Is the president going to say no, don't shoot? Is he going to allow human shields to be used effectively by ISIS?
Well, I would be very disappointed if he did, but I would not be surprised. I think that what we need war to be fought by generals. That is, generals ought to be responsible to civilian authority, but we just should not tell them how to win a war. And matter of fact, this is why we won both Gulf Wars, because we let the generals be in charge.
Right.
The big problem in Iraq is that we were trying to nation build, and you can't nation build. That is, we defeated a tyrant very easily just by our military, giving our military a open hand.
Yeah, and of course, one other comment, that's been coming up today. They asked the White House spokesman, Josh Earnest, about the JV comment the president made several months ago that ISIS is, they're just JV. They're the Lakers. You can't put Lakers uniforms on a JV team and have them become Kobe Bryant. Well, Peter King told me earlier that this is the big league of terrorism, ISIS, and they're not JV, and that the president should destroy them, not pinpoint little attacks if they come too close to us.
Oh, that's right. Absolutely destroy them, because they're surely out to destroy all that we stand for. And then also something else that Obama said when in the debates with Mitt Romney, he criticized Mitt Romney for saying that the Russians are our major problem.
Yeah, the 80s call, they want their foreign policy back, if I recall correctly. That's what he said. Yeah, it is a sad state of affairs.
But you blame it on the American people. Like, I don't blame Obama as much as many people do. I blame the American people who elected him to office on two occasions.
Yeah.
Nowhere in our history, at no point in our history, could a person been elected to the highest office in the land who had a long-time history, a long-time standing friendship with people who hated our country.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I blame the media, too, for not making it an issue, because, if a Republican speaks at a certain college, that they consider to be restrictive, then it's a headline. But if you pal around with Bill Ayers, as Sarah Palin said, and terrorists, then they mock you for saying it. So it's all messed up, as you well know, sir. Thank you. Always great talking to you, Walter.
Okay, Steve. Okay, bye.
Take care. Walter E. Williams, folks. Love talking to him. Very interesting conversation. And, folks, do you think the president should be impeached? You know we're running this great poll? Go to Newsmax.com/Obama poll. Newsmax.com/Obama poll. And you can vote. And up next, give me 5. And if you want to weigh in on social media, get back to us. Let us know what you think of the show. Here's how you can do it.